What if the very habit you repeat every single day is the invisible force blocking your wealth? Most people are not poor because of a lack of opportunity, but because of a pattern of thinking they refuse to change. In this powerful message inspired by Dr. Joseph Murphy, you will discover how one simple shift in your inner world can open the floodgates of abundance. The moment you stop feeding the wrong mental habit is the moment you begin attracting wealth naturally, effortlessly, and consistently. Your subconscious mind is like a vast, fertile garden that never rests. Every single thought you entertain, every belief you hold, every word you speak with emotion is a seed dropped into that rich soil. And here is the unbreakable law that Dr. Joseph Murphy revealed so clearly. As you sow in your subconscious mind, so shall you reap in your body, in your environment, and especially in your financial life. Most people walk through life completely unaware that they are constantly planting seeds of lack, limitation, worry, and scarcity without even realizing it. They complain about bills, they fear the future, they look at their empty bank account and feel a sinking feeling in their stomach, and every one of those moments is dropping another seed of poverty deep into the fertile ground of the subconscious. Then they wonder why money seems to slip through their fingers, why opportunities pass them by, and why wealth always feels just out of reach. Think about it for a moment. The subconscious does not argue with you. It does not judge whether your thought is good or bad, right or wrong. It simply accepts what you impress upon it with feeling and repetition and begins to grow it into physical reality. If you repeatedly plant the seed, "I never have enough," the subconscious treats that as an order and starts orchestrating circumstances, people, and events that confirm exactly that feeling. You might miss a promotion, face unexpected expenses, or watch others succeed while you stay stuck. It is not bad luck. It is not the economy. It is the faithful reproduction of the seeds you have been sowing day after day, often for years. Dr. Joseph Murphy taught that your subconscious mind is like a universal bank or a compounding financial institution. Whatever idea you deposit into it, whether thoughts of abundance or thoughts of lack, it magnifies and returns to you multiplied. Deposit fear about money, and it returns as more financial struggle. Deposit constant worry about bills, and it returns as more bills. But the opposite is equally true and far more empowering. When you stop planting those destructive seeds and begin to choose different ones, everything begins to shift. The garden does not care what you plant. It only knows how to grow. Your job is to become conscious of what you are sowing right now. Look around at the people who seem cursed with perpetual financial difficulty. Many of them are hardworking, honest, and intelligent, yet they remain trapped. Why? Because their dominant mental activity is focused on what they do not have. They wake up thinking about debts. They go to work resenting their paycheck. They scroll through social media seeing others' success and feel envy or inadequacy. Each of those emotions is a powerful seed packed with feeling, and feeling is the language the subconscious understands best. Murphy explained that the subconscious responds to the dominant feeling, not just the words. So even if you say positive words on the surface while inside you feel lack, the deeper mind follows the feeling and produces more of the same. This is why simply repeating "I am rich" without conviction often fails for beginners. The subconscious hears the words but senses the underlying doubt or desperation, and the feeling of lack remains stronger. That is why Murphy advised starting gently. Instead of fighting against your current reality with forceful statements that create inner conflict, begin by impressing ideas that your mind can accept without resistance. Phrases like, "I am prospering every day," "My wealth is growing steadily," or "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways," carry less contradiction when you are starting from a place of struggle. Repeat them with calm confidence, and gradually the new seeds take root and begin to crowd out the old weeds of limitation. Consider how habits form in the first place. You did not learn to walk, talk, or drive a car by thinking about it once. You repeated the action consciously until the subconscious took over and made it automatic. The same principle applies to your money habits. Most people have unconsciously repeated thoughts of scarcity, for so long that poverty thinking has become their automatic response. They have built the habit of noticing lack everywhere. The good news is that since you created the habit, you also have the power to change it. Murphy emphasized that we are all creatures of habit, and the subconscious is the seat of all habits. What has been learned can be unlearned, and what has been impressed can be re-impressed with new, life-giving patterns. Imagine your mind as a radio station. Right now, many people are tuned into the station called LAC FM. All day long, the broadcast plays, there is never enough. Good opportunities are for other people. Money is hard to get and easy to lose. The subconscious picks up that frequency and broadcasts it back into their outer world as experiences that match. To change your financial destiny, you must deliberately tune to a new station, Abundance FM. You do this by consciously choosing thoughts that align with wealth, repeating them until they become the dominant broadcast. At first, it may feel unnatural, like learning a new language, but persistence is everything. The subconscious does not distinguish between a thought you have held for 10 years and one you impress with deep feeling today. It only knows what is impressed most strongly right now. One of the most common mistakes people make is condemning money itself. They say things like money is the root of all evil or rich people are greedy. These statements are powerful seeds of rejection. When you mentally push money away with criticism or fear, the subconscious honors that rejection and keeps money at a distance. Murphy taught that money is simply a symbol of exchange, a medium of circulation. It is neither good nor bad. What matters is your attitude toward it. When you bless money, when you see it as a divine idea flowing freely for the highest good, when you welcome it as a friend rather than a stranger, the subconscious begins to attract it naturally. Think of money as energy that wants to flow. Block the flow with negative beliefs, and it dries up. Open the channel with positive acceptance, and it streams toward you from countless directions. Stop for a second and recall a time when you felt genuinely abundant, even if it was just for a moment. Maybe you received an unexpected gift, or you enjoyed a beautiful meal, or you felt grateful for something small. In that moment, your vibration, your feeling, was one of plenty. Notice how the universe seemed to respond with more ease. That brief experience proves the principle. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. The more you can cultivate and sustain that inner feeling even before the outer evidence appears, the faster your subconscious will move to make it tangible. Murphy often said that to the one who has the feeling of wealth, more wealth shall be added. To the one who has the feeling of lack, more lack shall be added. It is a law as reliable as gravity. Many people unknowingly reinforce limitation by talking about their problems constantly. They tell friends and family how expensive everything is, how tough the economy is, how they can barely make ends meet. Every complaint is another seed planted with emotional intensity. The subconscious listens and says, yes, this is what you want more of. Instead, begin to speak as if wealth is already on its way. You do not have to lie about your current situation. You simply choose not to give it unnecessary attention or emotional power. Focus your conversation and your inner dialogue on possibilities, on gratitude for what you already have, and on quiet expectancy of greater good. Words charged with faith and positive emotion sink deep and begin to reshape your entire financial reality. Look at nature for a perfect illustration. A farmer does not plant corn one day and dig it up the next morning to check if it is growing. He plants the seed, waters it, protects it, and trusts the laws of growth. He knows that the soil will do its job if he does his. Your subconscious is that fertile soil. Your conscious mind is the farmer. Once you have planted the right seeds, thoughts of prosperity, ideas of abundance, feelings of gratitude and confidence, your role is to stop digging them up with doubt, worry, or contradictory thoughts. Keep watering them with repeated positive impressions, especially before sleep when the subconscious is most receptive. Murphy recommended quiet repetition of wealth affirmations for 5 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day, particularly at night. Do this with calm conviction, not desperation. and watch how the inner garden begins to produce a harvest that surprises even you. Another powerful way negative seeds take root is through comparison. When you look at someone else's success and feel jealous or unworthy, you are actually affirming your own lack. The subconscious registers that feeling and works to keep you in the position that matches it. Murphy taught that you should rejoice in other people's prosperity because their success proves that abundance is available to all. When you genuinely celebrate someone else's wealth, you are telling your deeper mind that such good is normal and possible for you too. Envy plants scarcity. Genuine goodwill plants abundance. Choose the seed wisely. Fear is perhaps the most destructive seed of all when it comes to wealth. Fear of losing money. Fear of not having enough. Fear of the future. These emotions are charged with tremendous power. The subconscious accepts fear as a strong command and begins to create the very conditions feared. That is why Murphy stressed the importance of replacing fear with faith. Faith is not blind hope. It is a quiet, deep knowing that the infinite intelligence within your subconscious is guiding you toward greater supply. When you feel anxious about money, gently turn your attention to the truth that there is an unlimited source within you. Affirm that divine abundance is flowing through you now, that opportunities are seeking you, that you are worthy of prosperity. Each time you do this, you pull out a weed of fear and plant a sturdy seed of confidence instead. Consider the stories Murphy shared of ordinary people who transformed their finances by changing their mental sewing. One man who was deeply in debt began to impress his subconscious with the idea of constant supply. He repeated quietly, "Money is forever circulating freely in my life, and there is always a divine surplus." He did this systematically, feeling the truth of it as best he could. Gradually, new ideas came to him. Opportunities appeared and his financial situation improved step by step until he moved from lack to surplus. Another person visualized himself successful and prosperous, feeling the joy of it, and watched his income multiply. These were not miracles in the magical sense. They were the natural working of the law. Change the seed, change the harvest. You are planting seeds every waking moment, often unconsciously. The thoughts you allow to linger, the emotions you indulge, the mental pictures you hold, all of them are seeds. The moment you become aware of this, you gain the power to choose. You can catch yourself when you start thinking, "I can't afford that," and gently replace it with, "I am open to new channels of supply." You can notice when worry about bills begins and shift instead to gratitude for the money you do have and expectancy for more. Each small choice is a deliberate act of planting something better. Over time, these better seeds grow stronger than the old ones and begin to dominate your mental garden. The subconscious never sleeps. While your conscious mind rests at night, the deeper mind continues working with whatever has been impressed upon it most strongly during the day. That is why Murphy placed such importance on the last thoughts before sleep. Instead of reviewing problems or fears, fill your mind with ideas of wealth, success, and gratitude. See yourself living prosperously. Feel the satisfaction of financial freedom. Let those images and feelings sink deep. In the morning, begin the day with similar positive impressions. Consistency is the key. You do not need to force anything. You simply need to keep sowing the right seeds faithfully, knowing that the law is always operating. Many people believe that wealth comes only from hard physical work or lucky breaks. Murphy showed that while action is important, the real source of sustained prosperity is the inner conviction of wealth. When your subconscious is saturated with the idea of abundance, it directs you to the right actions, the right opportunities, and the right people. Ideas flow to you. Creativity awakens. Confidence grows. You move through life with a quiet assurance that opens doors. Effort becomes inspired rather than strained. You work smarter because your deeper mind is cooperating with you instead of working against you through hidden beliefs of limitation. Stop feeding your subconscious with news of scarcity, with conversations about economic doom, with mental rehearsals of worst-case scenarios. Each of those is a potent seed. Instead, deliberately choose to impress thoughts of plenty. Visualize money flowing to you easily and joyfully. Feel the freedom and security that comes with financial well-being. Speak words that affirm growth and increase. Do this not as a temporary technique, but as a new way of living. The old habit of lack thinking will lose its power as you starve it of attention and consistently nourish the new seeds of prosperity. Your subconscious mind is infinitely responsive. It wants to give you whatever you ask for in the language of feeling and belief. The only limitation has been the quality of the seeds you have been planting. The moment you decide to stop sowing lack and limitation and start sowing thoughts of wealth and abundance, you align yourself with the creative power that shapes all experience. The garden is ready, the soil is fertile, the law is impartial and exact. Now it is up to you to choose what you will plant from this moment forward. Keep choosing wisely. Keep impressing the idea of prosperity with calm, persistent faith, and the harvest will come, sometimes in ways you never imagined, always in perfect accordance with the seeds you have sown. Your subconscious mind stands ready like an obedient servant that never questions or debates what you tell it. It simply accepts the impressions you give it through your repeated thoughts, your dominant feelings, and the mental pictures you hold with conviction. Then it sets to work, turning those impressions into tangible experiences in your outer world. Dr. Joseph Murphy revealed that one of the most powerful and direct ways to transform your financial life is to deliberately impress thoughts of wealth and abundance deeply into this receptive part of your mind. Instead of allowing random or negative ideas to dominate, you consciously choose ideas that align with prosperity. Repeat them with feeling, and allow the deeper mind to magnify them into reality. This is not wishful thinking or empty daydreaming. It is a precise mental law at work. Whatever you impress upon the subconscious, with faith and persistence, will be expressed as conditions, opportunities, and circumstances in your life. The process begins with understanding that your subconscious is like a vast universal bank or a fertile field that returns whatever you deposit multiplied many times over. If you keep depositing thoughts of struggle and limitation, it pays out more of the same in the form of missed chances and financial tightness. But when you shift and start depositing clear, positive impressions of wealth, it begins to compound those ideas and bring them forth as increased income, new opportunities, unexpected money, and a general sense of abundance flowing into your experience. Murphy often explained that wealth is ultimately a subconscious conviction. You do not become prosperous merely by saying empty words like, "I am a millionaire," if your inner feeling contradicts them. Instead, you grow into a wealth consciousness by steadily building the idea of abundance into your mentality until it feels natural and real to you. One of the most effective ways to impress the subconscious is through calm, repeated affirmations that your mind can accept without inner argument. When someone is facing real financial difficulty, strong statements such as, "I am rich," can sometimes create conflict because the current feeling of lack is still dominant. The subconscious follows the stronger of the two ideas, the spoken affirmation or the underlying emotion. That is why Murphy recommended starting with gentle, progressive statements that do not clash with your present state. Phrases like, "I am prospering every day," "My wealth is growing steadily," "Every day I am advancing financially," or "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways," carry less resistance. You repeat them quietly, especially before sleep when the conscious mind is relaxing and the subconscious is most open to suggestion. Say them slowly with conviction, knowing that you are engraving a new pattern into the deeper mind. Do this for 4 or 5 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day, and the idea of wealth begins to take root. Feel the truth of what you are affirming. It is not enough to repeat words mechanically like a parrot. Murphy stressed that you must pour life, love, and genuine feeling into your affirmations. As you speak or think the words, imagine the joy and freedom that come with greater supply. See yourself handling money with ease and gratitude. Sense the relief of having more than enough. This emotional charge is what drives the impression deep. The subconscious responds best to feeling. When you combine clear ideas with sincere emotion, the deeper mind accepts the impression as a command and begins working to make it manifest. You might start noticing small signs almost immediately: a refund you did not expect, a kind gesture that saves you money, or a new idea that improves your earnings. These are the first sprouts from the seeds you are planting. Visualization is another powerful tool for impressing abundance. Murphy called it scientific imagination. Sit or lie quietly, relax your body completely, and create a vivid mental picture of the prosperous life you desire. Do not strain or force it. Simply see yourself living with financial ease. Picture your bank account growing, bills being paid with joy, or receiving a check for an amount that delights you. Include sensory details: the feel of the paper in your hands, the smile on your face, the gratitude in your heart. Hear words of congratulations from others or from your own inner voice affirming your success. Hold this mental movie for several minutes, especially at night. As you drift into sleep with this impression, the subconscious takes it in fully and works on it through the night. Many people who followed Murphy's guidance reported that consistent visualization led to breakthroughs they could not have planned consciously, new clients appearing, better job offers arriving, or creative solutions emerging that increase their income. The key is persistence and regularity. Impressing the subconscious is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice of choosing wealth thoughts over lack thoughts. Every time you catch yourself worrying about money or thinking, "I cannot afford this," gently redirect your mind to a better impression. Replace the limiting thought with something like, "I am open to new channels of supply," or "divine abundance is flowing to me now." Each redirection strengthens the new pattern. Over time, the old habit of scarcity thinking weakens because you starve it of attention while you nourish the abundance ideas with consistent focus. Murphy taught that your subconscious does not argue with you. It accepts what your conscious mind decrees is true. So, decree wealth. Decree increase. Decree that you are worthy of prosperity and that supply is constantly circulating in your life. Consider how this works in everyday decisions. When you see something you would like but feel you cannot afford it, instead of accepting that limitation, impress a different idea. Murphy suggested saying inwardly, "I accept this in my mind." It is mine in consciousness, and the way will open for it to manifest. By doing this, you avoid reinforcing lack and instead plant the seed of acceptance and expectancy. The subconscious then begins to arrange conditions so that the desire can come to you in a natural way. This does not mean you sit idly waiting. It means you act from a consciousness of abundance rather than desperation. Your actions become more confident, your ideas flow more freely, and opportunities that match your inner state begin to appear. Another important aspect of impressing wealth is to bless the money you already have and the money that comes to you. Many people unconsciously reject prosperity by complaining about prices, resenting bills, or feeling guilty about spending. These attitudes create a mental barrier. Murphy advised treating money as a friend, as a divine idea of circulation. When you pay a bill, do it with goodwill, knowing that you are keeping money moving and that it will return to you multiplied. When you receive money, even a small amount, give thanks and affirm that larger sums are on the way. This positive relationship with money signals to the subconscious that you welcome abundance. The deeper mind then works to bring more of it into your experience, because it recognizes that you are aligned with the flow rather than blocking it. Stories from Murphy's teachings illustrate how ordinary people change their financial situations by impressing new ideas. One man who was struggling with debts began repeating the simple statement, "Money is forever circulating freely in my life, and there is always a divine surplus." He said it quietly several times a day, feeling the truth of it as best he could. At first, nothing dramatic happened, but he persisted. Within weeks, new opportunities opened up, old debts were cleared more easily than expected, and his overall income started to rise. Another person used visualization to see himself successful and debt-free. He imagined signing important papers with satisfaction and feeling the security of financial freedom. By holding that picture consistently, ideas came to him that led to real improvements in his business and personal finances. These were not isolated miracles. They were the natural result of changing the mental impressions and allowing the subconscious to respond according to its law. You can apply the same principle to any area of your financial life. If your income feels stagnant, impress the idea of steady growth and advancement. If you want a better position or higher earnings, impress thoughts of recognition, value, and reward. If unexpected expenses arise, impress the conviction that supply is always available and that every need is met in divine order. The subconscious has access to infinite intelligence. When you impress it with wealth consciousness, it can guide you to the right decisions, the right connections, and the right actions without you having to force everything through willpower alone. Your role is to keep the impressions clear and positive. The subconscious handles the how. It is also helpful to rejoice in the prosperity of others. When you see someone else succeeding financially, celebrate it genuinely. Murphy explained that envying or resenting another person's wealth only impresses your own subconscious with lack. By contrast, feeling happy for their good tells your deeper mind that such abundance is normal and available to everyone, including you. This attitude opens the channel wider for your own supply. Abundance is not limited. There is enough for all when you align your thinking with the infinite source within. As you continue to impress thoughts of wealth, you will notice a shift in your overall mindset. Worry decreases, confidence grows. You begin to move through life with a quiet expectancy of good. Ideas come more easily. You notice opportunities that you might have overlooked before. Even your daily work or business activities take on a new energy because you are no longer operating from a background of limitation. The subconscious, once saturated with abundance, supports you in every way. It inspires creativity, attracts helpful people, and orchestrates events that bring increase. This is the miracle-working power Murphy spoke about so often, not something supernatural in a mysterious sense, but the reliable working of your own deeper mind when given the right directions. Keep feeding your subconscious with these impressions daily. Use the quiet moments in the morning and especially at night. Write down positive statements about wealth and read them with feeling. Speak them aloud when you are alone. Picture the outcomes you desire as already real in your mind. Combine all these methods, affirmations, visualization, gratitude, and blessing, and the impressions become stronger and more effective. There is no need to struggle or strain. Simply be consistent and know that the law is operating perfectly. Your subconscious is always listening, always responding, and always ready to bring forth whatever you impress upon it most strongly. The more you practice impressing thoughts of wealth and abundance, the more natural it becomes. What once felt like effort turns into a habitual way of thinking. You automatically choose positive interpretations. You expect good financial news. You feel deserving of prosperity. This new consciousness then expresses itself outwardly in improved conditions, greater ease, and a steady flow of supply. The universal bank of your subconscious compounds your deposits of wealth ideas and returns them to you in multiplied form through real-world experiences. Every thought you impress today is shaping your tomorrow. Choose those thoughts wisely and keep impressing the limitless abundance that is your true nature. The feeling of wealth produces real wealth in your life, and this simple yet profound truth stands at the very core of Dr. Joseph Murphy's teachings on the power of the subconscious mind. It is not enough to merely think about money or repeat words of prosperity on the surface. What truly moves the deeper mind and shapes your financial reality is the actual feeling you generate and sustain within yourself. Murphy often reminded his audiences that to him who has the feeling of wealth, more wealth shall be added, while to him who dwells in the feeling of lack, more lack shall be given. Your subconscious mind does not respond primarily to empty declarations or forced positive thinking. It responds to the dominant emotional tone, the inner atmosphere you carry, the vivid sense of already being prosperous that you cultivate in your heart and imagination. Imagine for a moment that your subconscious is a faithful mirror reflecting back whatever feeling you impress upon it most consistently. If you walk through your days carrying a heavy sense of not enough, worrying about bills, feeling anxious about the future, or secretly resenting those who seem to have more, that emotional state becomes the command your deeper mind obeys. It begins to orchestrate circumstances that match and magnify that feeling. Unexpected expenses arise, opportunities slip away, or income remains stagnant. The law is impartial and exact. The feeling of scarcity produces more scarcity, because the subconscious accepts your emotional conviction as the truth of your being and works tirelessly to make your outer world correspond to it. On the other hand, when you deliberately cultivate and live in the feeling of wealth, even before the bank account shows it, everything begins to shift in your favor. Murphy explained that wealth is ultimately a state of consciousness. It is not something you chase through endless struggle or hope to attract from outside sources alone. It is something you become inwardly by building the idea and the feeling of abundance into your mentality until it feels natural and real. The feeling of wealth acts like a powerful magnet, drawing to you the people, ideas, opportunities, and resources that match that inner state. Your subconscious mind, being connected to the infinite intelligence of the universe, knows exactly how to bring forth the conditions that correspond to the emotional tone you maintain. How do you actually generate and sustain this feeling of wealth when your current reality may still show limitation? Murphy taught that you start where you are and use the tools of imagination, quiet affirmation, and grateful expectancy. Begin by relaxing your body and mind completely, especially in the quiet moments before sleep or upon waking. In that receptive state, create a vivid mental picture of yourself living prosperously. See yourself handling money with ease and joy. Feel the satisfaction of paying bills promptly and having plenty left over. Sense the freedom and security that come with financial well-being. Do not strain or force the image. Simply dwell in it gently, letting the feelings of gratitude, relief, and quiet confidence arise naturally. As you do this, the subconscious begins to accept these feelings as real and starts working to externalize them. One of Murphy's favorite illustrations was the idea that your subconscious is like a universal bank or financial institution that magnifies whatever you deposit. Deposit the feeling of lack, and it compounds into greater lack. Deposit the feeling of wealth and it multiplies into tangible prosperity. A teacher in California once admired an expensive ermine coat in a shop window, but immediately felt she could never afford it. After learning Murphy's principles, she stopped marrying her desire to negative feelings of impossibility. Instead, she began to feel the joy of owning such a beautiful thing, imagining herself wearing it with delight and gratitude. She impressed the subconscious with a feeling of already possessing it in consciousness. In time, the way opened for her to acquire not only that coat, but other desires without strain, because she had first claimed them subjectively through feeling. The power lies in the emotional conviction. Murphy emphasized that you must subjectively possess riches before you can objectively experience them. Everything first happens in the invisible realm of mind and feeling. When you feel wealthy, you are not pretending or denying current facts. You are choosing to give your attention and emotional energy to the reality you prefer. You are aligning your inner state with the abundant supply that already exists in the infinite intelligence within you. This alignment is what allows money to circulate freely in your life, just as blood circulates freely in a healthy body. When money flows with ease and joy, you are economically healthy. Many people unknowingly block this flow by carrying contradictory feelings. They may say positive words during the day, but lie awake at night feeling anxious about finances. The stronger feeling, the one charged with emotion, is what the subconscious follows. That is why Murphy advised building the feeling gradually and consistently. Use short, believable affirmations that your mind can accept without argument. Instead of forcing, "I am a millionaire," when that feels far-fetched, dwell on statements such as, "Wealth is circulating freely in my life and there is always a divine surplus," or "I am prospering in all my ways," while gently allowing the warm feeling of abundance to rise within you. Repeat them with calm conviction several times a day, particularly at night when the subconscious is highly impressionable. Visualization combined with feeling is even more potent. Murphy called it scientific imagination. Sit quietly and mentally rehearse scenes of prosperous living. Picture yourself receiving a substantial check or deposit, and feel the genuine gratitude and excitement that would accompany it. Walk imaginatively through a home or lifestyle that represents financial freedom to you, and soak in the emotions of joy, peace, and fulfillment. Hold these feelings as long as they remain pleasant and natural. Each time you do this, you are impressing the subconscious with the actual vibration of wealth. Over days and weeks, this inner feeling grows stronger than the old feeling of limitation, and the outer conditions begin to rearrange themselves to match. Consider how this principle operates in everyday moments. When an unexpected bill arrives, instead of immediately sinking into worry, pause and deliberately generate the feeling that all your needs are met in divine order. Affirm inwardly that supply is flowing to you now and allow a sense of calm assurance to fill you. When you see beautiful things you desire, do not push them away with thoughts of, "I can't afford that." Instead, accept them in consciousness by feeling the pleasure of having them. Murphy taught that you can have anything you wish without hurting anyone when you claim it first in the mind with the right feeling. The subconscious then opens channels, perhaps through new income sources, creative ideas, gifts, or opportunities that bring the desire into your experience naturally. Real stories from Murphy's teachings demonstrate this law in action. A man deeply in debt began each morning by affirming his oneness with the infinite riches of his subconscious mind, feeling the flow of abundance as he shaved and prepared for the day. He persisted with this practice, cultivating the inner feeling of security and plenty. Within weeks, new ideas and promotions came, and his financial situation improved dramatically. Another person visualized an envelope filled with enough money to clear her debts, feeling the peace and gratitude as though it had already happened. Shortly afterward, an unexpected tax refund arrived that exceeded her immediate needs, followed by further opportunities that resolved her situation completely. These were not coincidences or magic. They were the subconscious mind responding faithfully to the sustained feeling of wealth that had been impressed upon it. The feeling of wealth also influences your actions and decisions in powerful ways. When you carry this inner state, you move through life with greater confidence and creativity. Ideas flow more freely because you are no longer operating from a background of fear or scarcity. You notice opportunities that others miss. You negotiate better, present yourself with quiet assurance, and attract helpful people and circumstances. Hard work still plays a role, but it becomes inspired effort rather than desperate struggle. The subconscious, saturated with the feeling of abundance, guides you toward smarter choices and opens doors that lead to increase. Cultivating this feeling requires consistency and gentle persistence. It is like learning to play a musical instrument or developing any new skill. At first it may feel unfamiliar or even artificial if your outer life still shows limitation. But as you continue to return to the feeling of wealth several times each day through quiet reflection, grateful thoughts, positive inner dialogue, and vivid imagination, it becomes more natural. The old emotional habits of lack begin to lose their grip because you are no longer feeding them with attention. You are starving the feeling of scarcity and richly nourishing the feeling of prosperity instead. Murphy often pointed out that money is simply a symbol of exchange and circulation. When you feel wealthy, you bless the money that comes to you and the money that flows out. You pay bills with goodwill, knowing that giving and receiving are part of the same prosperous flow. You rejoice in the success of others because their abundance proves that plenty is available to all. Envy or resentment only reinforces a feeling of separation from supply. By celebrating others' good fortune, you strengthen your own feeling of wealth and keep the channel open wider. In the quiet of the night, as you drift towards sleep, this practice becomes especially powerful. Let your last conscious thoughts be filled with the feeling of gratitude for the wealth that is already yours in consciousness. See yourself successful, secure, and generous. Feel the deep satisfaction of living in abundance. The subconscious will continue working with these impressions throughout the night, weaving them into the fabric of your tomorrow. Upon waking, begin the day by reaffirming the same feeling. Carry it with you as you go about your activities. Let it color your conversations, your decisions, and your expectations. The beauty of this principle is that it works for anyone willing to apply it. You do not need special talents, connections, or huge starting capital. You only need to take charge of the inner atmosphere you maintain. The feeling of wealth produces wealth because it aligns you with the creative power within your own subconscious mind. That power knows no limitation. It can attract new clients, inspire inventions, bring promotions, open unexpected doors, or multiply your current resources in ways you could never plan consciously. Keep returning to this feeling throughout your day. When doubt or worry tries to creep in, gently redirect your attention to the inner sense of plenty. Affirm that divine abundance is flowing through you now. Visualize positive outcomes and let the corresponding emotions rise. Bless your current supply, no matter how small it seems, and give thanks in advance for the greater good on its way. Each time you do this, you are strengthening the mental and emotional pattern that your subconscious will externalize. As this feeling of wealth becomes more habitual, you will notice profound changes. Stress around money decreases. Opportunities appear more frequently. Your confidence grows naturally. Life begins to feel lighter and more expansive. You start to live from a consciousness of surplus rather than scarcity, and the outer world reflects that shift in remarkable ways. The law is always operating. The feeling you nourish is the reality you will eventually experience. The feeling of wealth is not a temporary technique, but a way of being that you can cultivate moment by moment. Murphy's message was clear and empowering. You possess everything by right of consciousness. Subjectively claim the riches you desire through feeling, and they must appear objectively because the subconscious mind is compelled to bring your inner state into outer manifestation. Dwell in the feeling of wealth consistently, with faith and gratitude, and watch as more and more prosperity flows into every area of your life.